Zion's weight issues are getting out of control. Let's get into this.
Dosage. Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetics.
Quickly before we get the video started, if you guys enjoy this video and want to see more NBA content just like this one, hit that subscribe button and that post notification bell. Anyways, back to the video. Zion Williamson was drafted with the #1 overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft to the New Orleans Pelicans. Going into that year's draft and even back in high school, Zion was seen as a generational talent and potentially the next LeBron James or the potential next best player in the NBA for years to come. What Zion was able to do not only in high school but also in college was absolutely incredible, and the excitement and hype around Zion's name going into the NBA draft was at an all-time high. But with expectations being as high as they were of Zion being potentially the next best player in the NBA or the next LeBron James was obviously going to be very, very difficult to actually achieve. But a lot of people believed in Zion so much they thought he could actually achieve this bout. Of course, there's some different issues with Zion in terms of his injury history specifically going into the league, and also kind of persisted once he got into the NBA, but that's something I'll touch upon more later. But originally when Zion got into the NBA, he proved very early on that he had the potential to be an absolute superstar and maybe even a little bit better than that. When you look at the stats that Zion put up very early in his rookie season, it's absolutely incredible. He was averaging 23 points per game on a crazy 60% shooting from the field, 7 rebounds per game, and also adding 2 assists to his game. Of course, those numbers are fantastic, but a lot of times there's players that put up pretty good numbers, but when you actually look at them and watch them play on the court, they're not as good as their numbers would suggest. But the thing about Zion, when you actually watch him on the court, it was clear that he was a superstar talent. Offensively, Zion was definitely elite. The way he was able to get downhill and get all the way to the basket was just amazing. Once he got downhill and got all the way to the basket, there was basically nothing the defender could do. Either Zion would use his crazy athleticism to just dunk over you, or he bullied you in the paint and pushed you out of the way and just finished around you with crafty layups, either left or right hand. Also, he had somewhat of a post game where he kind of did the same thing, just bullied you out of the way and just put up an easy floater, hook shot, whatever. Also having a pretty nice touch around the basket. And basically when Zion gets in the paint, there's nothing you can do to stop him. He's just too athletic, too strong, and too talented. But besides just his driving and finishing ability, Zion had somewhat of a mid-range jump shot, not great, as well as somewhat of a three-point jump shot, also not great. But something about Zion's game that's actually pretty underrated is his playmaking and passing ability. Zion actually has a pretty good basketball IQ in the court, and if he has the ball and there's a wide open teammate, more likely than not, he's going to find that open teammate. Also, there's times where he grabs a rebound, quickly chucks it down the court to a wide open teammate for a dunk or layup. Zion definitely has a much better passing and playmaking ability than a lot of people give him credit for. And also on the defensive side, Zion is a pretty good defender as well, just getting weak side blocks using his athleticism, and overall just a pretty good defender, I would say. But probably the scariest part of Zion's game is the fact that he's putting up these crazy numbers, and when you actually look at his offensive game, basically the only way he's scoring is just driving and finishing in the paint. Just imagine if a guy like Zion someday figures out how to shoot a jump shot and maybe becomes a decent to okay three-point shooter, a decent to okay mid-range shooter. Maybe currently at this point he's already a decent mid-range shooter, but just imagine if he becomes a decent three-point shooter, the ability to create his own shot, catch and shoot from that three-point range. Just imagine how good of a player he can be at that point. And if he ever were to do that, I think clearly he would probably be the best player in the NBA, if not a top 2, top 3 player in the league. But all that is true if Zion could stay on the court. But that's been a huge issue for Zion, actually staying on the court. Ever since Zion got to the league, he's been dealing with so many different injuries. When he originally first got drafted to the Pelicans, he didn't even play for most of his rookie season, only playing about 24 games. Now in those 24 games, he almost won Rookie of the Year, that's how well he played. But overall, the best ability is availability. And Zion proved early on in his rookie season that he was going to be dealing with some injuries. His second season, in the 2020 season, he played a lot more games, playing 61 games, but either way, he's still missing a lot of games. And now moving on to this season, Zion hasn't even played any games this season yet, and we're about 10 to 15 games in at this point. But why is Zion getting injured so much? Well, the main reason why Zion is getting injured so much is because of his weight. When you look at the weight at the top half of Zion's body, it's absolutely incredible. Of course, a lot of it is muscle, some of it's fat, but either way, it's a ton of weight going down on his knees and his legs. So just naturally, a player like that is more prone to getting injured than somebody who's a little more skinny, obviously. But on top of him just being very top heavy. Another issue with Zion's game is he's incredibly athletic. Now obviously his athleticism helps out just for his game, just helps him become a lot better of a player, but the downside of being that athletic and weighing that much is all that weight, once you jump as high as he does, is going to come all down in your knees and your legs in general, and it's going to do some damage. And in my opinion, that's the biggest reason why Zion is getting injured so much, just because of all the weight he has in the top half of his body, combined with his crazy athleticism. Now, could Zion actually fix this issue? Of course he can. The biggest way to fix this issue is obviously just lose the weight. That's the most simple answer. So it's pretty clear that the solution that Zion really needs to do is just lose some weight, and once you get some of that weight off your top half, not as much weight will be falling on your knees and legs, and it would definitely help you out in terms of your injury issues. Now, another potential solution would just be maybe Zion should work a little bit more on his legs and just get his legs a little stronger. Now, in theory, that sounds like a good idea, and probably he should be doing that, and he probably is. But the issue is, even if your legs are extremely strong, just the amount of sheer weight that he has on the top half, I think no matter what, he would be prone to injuries with that much weight on the top. But the issue about Zion is recently, not only did he not lose weight, he actually gained a pretty decent amount of weight as well. When we saw him work out early on in some of the games, and just seeing some pictures and videos of Zion working out recently, it's pretty clear he gained a ton of weight. And considering he's getting injured pretty often before, when he was already somewhat overweight, a lot of it's muscle, I understand, he just had a lot of weight on his upper half. Just imagine what would happen now when it's clear that he's overweight now and he gained a ton of weight. It's a lot easier said than done to lose weight for a guy like Zion and everybody with his body type than it would be for someone with a different body type. Clearly, Zion gains a lot of weight and a lot of muscle very quickly, which is good for the NBA in terms of gaining muscle, but considering how much muscle and how much fat that he already has on his body, on his upper half specifically, that's not something you want, and you clearly want him to lose weight at this point. And probably the worst thing that could happen to Zion is actually go through all these different injuries. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when he's injured, obviously he's not able to work out all the time, depending on what the injury is, but a lot of the injuries have been on his legs and lower half where he just wouldn't be able to work out, which is terrible, because now not only can't you work out because you're injured, but also you're not going to be able to lose as much weight and just be as in great of a shape if you're not able to work out. Obviously, it just makes sense. And specifically talking about a guy like Zion who struggled with his weight a little bit throughout his young career, it's obviously not great and probably the exact opposite of what you want. So if I'm the Pelicans, I think they have been really taking it very slow and easy ever since they drafted Zion, but if I'm the Pelicans, I'm definitely not letting Zion get on the court until he loses some weight. Just seeing Zion practicing on the court pre-game for some of their games, you could just tell how much weight he's gained, and if he plays on the court at that shape that he is in currently, I think it could potentially be bad. Hopefully not, knock on wood, but I just think it could potentially be. So if I'm the Pelicans, I definitely take it very slow. Tell Zion you're not playing unless you lose a certain amount of weight. Just get in a little bit better of a shape, and then hopefully from that point they can go forward, where now he's playing on the court, hopefully each and every night, getting a little more healthy and losing weight by just practicing a lot more and just playing on the court a lot more, and then eventually getting to that point. Eventually, this could take some time, it could take years, but getting to that point eventually where he's at the ideal weight that he needs to be at, where he wouldn't be putting as much pressure and stress on his legs and just staying a lot more healthy for season after season. That's the end goal of this whole thing. Obviously, it's pretty clear when Zion's on the court, he's an amazing player, amazing talent, clearly a superstar type talent. But of course, the whole issue is just the injuries. But anyways, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys agree with this video? Do you think Zion is getting injured a little bit too much? What do you think the solution is? Let me know what you guys think. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe and hit that post notification bell. It really helps me out a lot. Until the next time, peace out, guys.
Dosage. Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetics. Hope you can't go where I'm headed.